Mephibosheth or Mephibosheth, I forget how it's pronounced. But when he brought him in, he didn't have him put to death. He didn't have him cast into the stocks or nothing like that. You know, he took him in and blessed him. That's true character and integrity right there. No, Jonathan, that was my ace right there. That was my brother. Yeah. And that's how the brotherhood is supposed to. We supposed to be that way with each other, man. You know, his father tried to take him out, man. Your daddy is my op. But even in that, man, that's not going to destroy the love that we have, man. Okay, integrity. He got cursed by Shimei, and his captains was like, "Hey, let's take this nigga head off." And he checked him. Like, no, that's still the Lord's anointed. While he's still king, I can't. Hell no. You know? Integrity. Oh, when King David, after he committed adultery.
Yep, I was thinking that too.
He was about to go to a scripture. Go on and get it. You gonna go to the account when he was getting cussed out?
Nope, he said, nah, he speaketh. That's the first one I thought you were doing.
Part of your integrity is also learning how to receive correction and rebuke.
Yeah.
Getting cussed out by a brother that actually loves you, man. You might not like how it sounds at the moment, but it's an ointment to you.
Pouring alcohol on it. It sting at first, but what is it going to do? It's going to clean that wound out, and then it's going to allow it to start healing.
Yep.
First time you what?
I think it's in
It's later. He was king at that point.
it was in 2 Samuel.
Yeah, he was king at that point.
It got to be in 2 Samuel.
Yeah.
Somebody can Google it.
I got Samuel 11. He's getting cussed out.
Yeah.
I got it.
Like Nathan.
No, Lord, Nathan. Yeah,
Oh,
Nathan.
my Nathan.
Yeah.
It's
It's 12.
12.
It's 2 Samuel 12. And I'll start here at
7.
7. 7. And it reads, and Nathan said to David, "Thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord power of Israel. I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul."
No. You gotta start at the top, bro.
Yeah.
Start at the top.
It is 2 Samuel 12 at the top. And the Lord Yahweh sent Nathan unto David and said, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were 2 men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds.
He gave him a parable that nobody really understood but David. That's what Job was about. Yeah, you got it.
It says, but the poor man had nothing save one little ewe lamb, except which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. There came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock, and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb, and dressed it for the man that was to come. And dressed it for the man that was to come to him. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man.
Him hearing that, in the
He
moment,
knew what it was.
that shit pissed him
That
off.
was a private moment that he thought nobody saw. The prophet understood and hit him with a parable. The Lord knew.
Yeah.
That's heavy, bro.
And that was done purposely to get David
Yep.
to despise.
I wasn't gonna see if you were gonna go there. I'm glad you're going there. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, like what I'm describing to you in a parable is like unto what the fuck you just did.
Yep.
So
All nobody saw.
if I'm getting that reaction from you by me telling you this parable,
Guilty.
that's how the Lord feels about you right now.
Yep. Yep.
You know? Guilty, man. Because that pissed David off hearing that. Now go ahead.
Continuing, this is 5, and David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die. So he understood the consequences of his actions as well.
Yep.
Yeah, now, but he's condemning himself by admitting that that man who did that in that parable, he deserved to die.
Yep.
So you're basically condemning yourself
Through this account.
through that, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, well,
Speaking of
that's,
the double,
that's what we do as men of the Lord as well, you know?
Yep.
You could be watching a video, it could be the apostles or it could be any other brother, and you may be watching and they might say something, bring out the scripture, you're like, oh shit, man.
yep.
You know, you feel it, man.
Get cut.
And in order to hold the sword, you still get cut by it. It says 6, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold because he did this thing and because he had no pity.
When you it's like, when you think about that situation, how you take this, man? You know, when you really look at the situation with Uriah the Hittite and Bathsheba, that was kind of cold by David. He sent him to the front line.
Yeah.
Knowing he would get killed. After he tried, hey man, go on and just go be with your wife tonight. I'm gonna ask you a heavy fate, you know, see you to the front line tomorrow. Now I'm gonna stay here. And you're supposed to go and think you impregnated her, because you know, when you really get into the situation, you know, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
And what
No. You can go ahead.
what was a consequence or an effect of, you know, that baby, you know, basically being, what you call it? Or basically, conceived, you know,
Yep.
the child did what? He died, man.
Yep.
The child died. It is continuing.
Sacrifice.
And he shall restore the lamb fourfold because he did this thing and because he had no pity. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man, thus saith the Lord power of Israel. Thus saith the Lord power of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul,
Yep.
and I gave thee thy master's house, and thy master's wives unto thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of his son.
And all these things started to happen to David. Even though he didn't kill David for that, but David caught a lot of hell, man. And guess what? He took it.
Yep.
He took that, man.
Absalom's son started laying with his
Concubines.
You saw how it felt.
His son betrayed him.
Yeah.
You know, causing some of his men to turn on him. Yeah. Yeah, man. The Lord plagued Israel up under him. And he had to endure that. The first child that he had with Bathsheba, the Lord put it to death. But he still praised the Most High. He took the rebuking because he had integrity, man.
You got 12?
Go ahead.
Just continuing. This is verse 11. And it reads, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun, for thou didst it secretly. But I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun.
Yeah. Keep going.
And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, The Lord also hath put away thy sin, and thou shalt not die.
Man, showed mercy, which ultimately that's going to be bestowed upon all the Lord's elect. You know, whatever transgressions you did in the past, you forgiven them. All right.
And you, that's where that sure mercy of David comes out. Right? And when you go into the more of that chapter, the things that David did to get back in the good graces of the Lord. You know, it's just some more that if you can read down to, just reading since you're reading it, you can read down to about 23. You just read through it.
There's a continuing. This is verse 14. Howbeit, because this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. And Nathan departed unto his house, and the Lord strake the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. David therefore besought Yahweh for the child, and David fasted, and went in and lay all night upon the earth. And the elders of his house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not. Neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the seventh day that the child.
His spirit was heavy. He had a sincere remorse, sorrowful. That's what it truly means to repent. To feel sorrow for your transgression and turning back from it. That's literally what he did there, man. He didn't act like Cain and be like, well, this is too much for me to bear.
Yeah.
Even though you just committed murder.
Yeah.
No, he acknowledged his offense and he had to wear it. Because he had integrity, man. You know? So we got to strive to be that way.
That's right.
Go ahead.
18. And it came to pass on the seventh day that the child died, and the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead? 19.
Well, he probably didn't come out of his room for days.
Yeah.
Just in there, balled up, man.
But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Lord. Hey, that goes back to Matthew 6.
Yep.
You know, appear not unto men that fast.
Yep.
You know, so he changed his, washed his face, probably put on, and what I say is he anointed himself, so he put on the oils, put on his garments.
Yep.
It says, and came into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he came to his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat. Then said his servants unto him, What thing is this that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was alive, but when the child was dead, thou didst rise and eat bread.
Yep.
Because he understood. It says, and he said, While the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, Who can tell whether Yahweh will be gracious to me, that the child may live? But now he is dead, wherefore should I fast? It also shows you well, because understanding the times that we're in now, we understand that the hell is about to come. Hey, King David knew that was going to be basically the effect.
Nathan told him.
Yeah, kind. So he was already preparedness for it.
And he was hoping that he would change it. That's why he was doing all that. Or maybe he'd change the judgment.
Fasting and praying.
Yeah, but the judgment stood.
The judgment was already written.
Right.
Yeah.
22.
And just like when Yahweh Shai
Yeah.
trying to have the cup
Yeah.
That's
to,
what
be,
I'm
to
saying.
be taken from them.
Mhm.
They're any other way. When the Lord didn't